Hi everyone, 6th September, end of the week. Let's have a look at the highlights of this week. So starting off the week with a retro. Now, we're looking at workflows in this team, and I wanted to use the retro as a workflow session to pull out the workflow, but also look at where things could be better and where things were already good that we needed to keep. So I started a workflow session. So what I did was I got the team, split them into two parts and put them in breakout rooms, and I had them develop their own understanding of what the workflow was in our team. Now I made sure to use the correct people in each team. By correct, I mean the right spread of people. So not all the developers in one place and all the product design people in the other team. So it was an even spread. And so they all had like a roundabout understanding of the whole process, but shared between them. And then so what I wanted was for them to develop that and bring that out. So that was really interesting to sort of bring that out onto paper. And then I had them come back and we talked about it, discussed what their workflows were, and they both came out with similar workflows, which was reassuring. It was more that one team had looked at certain aspects of things and more about the way the work comes in and then flows through to the developers, whereas the other team had looked a bit more about the ceremonies that took place and how that projected the work. And so it was interesting to bring those two together. And the next step for that is to have another session where I'll have brought together those two workflows, and then I'll look at areas where we're doing well, as in where the workflow is working, and then areas where the workflow isn't working. Now, so in that session, what I'm anticipating is that people, because it is a multidisciplinary team, those specialist people in different parts of that workflow will come up in different parts of the workflow and say, look, this is generally the area that I'm more involved in, so I can give you a better insight in terms of what's working well, what could be improved. And that's where I look. So as opposed to someone like myself, I'm over the entire workflow, but in a more general way. They're going to be in the workflow in a more specific way. So I'm looking at them to tell me, actually, this bit could be better. This bit's great. This bit could be better. Let's keep this. Let's get rid of this. And so we'll have that process next time. And again, it's a continuation of the retro in that I'm just pulling out parts of the workflow that are slowing us down, are causing problems, and reinforcing the parts that aren't causing problems and actually helping us. So again, it's all that matter of refining the workflow rather than coming in as a new DM and just revamping the whole thing, because it doesn't make any sense. It'll probably just do the same thing, but with a different set of problems. Because obviously there's no one single workflow that works for every team. If there was, we'd all just use ELF, right? Instead of developing our own workflows specific to the team, specific to the product they're working on, specific to the current time, specific to the organization, et cetera, et cetera. So that was an interesting start to the week. And then later on, I joined the delivery community practice where we had to look at a few things, mainly about the fact that the organization is changing somewhat. And so it was just looking at hopes and fears about those changes, what we hope and anticipate might happen, and to give our voice. And it was one of the things that this organization does particularly well is listening to the people that are part of it and sort of listening to their concerns, addressing their concerns. Does that really well, specifically does that really well at individual levels. One of the pieces of work that I've been working on with one of the teams, we presented to SLT this week and they're really happy with it. They thought it was great work. Essentially what we've done is we've developed a system over a few weeks' time, which we've put a lot of effort into, and they recognize the effort, which was nice. It's nice to go into a session with a really positive attitude and come out feeling like we'd done the work. Everyone was happy with work, and I made sure that success was shared between the team. It wasn't, I came in, I did this. It was so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did this. This is how it all came together, and here we are. So it was congratulations all around rather than congratulations to the DM for coordinating it, which I think is important. Again, as a team lead, you want to be in a position where you are bringing people up, okay? And that's what's going to bring you up. Ultimately, there is some minor personnel issues going on at the moment. So I'm mediating between two people on the team, it's an unfortunate part of the job, which isn't always a nice part of the job, but it's something which is ongoing. So a little bit of additional work for me this week in terms of meeting people and make sure I meet people around the actual two people disputing to make sure I get a full picture, make sure they understand what's going on. We use matrix management here, which is quite different to what I'm used to from other organizations. It just means that people aren't working with their line manager, not working directly with their line manager. They're working with other people, and their line manager may be in a different part of the organization. So if two people are having a dispute, their line managers might not immediately know. I'm doing a bit of coaching, so I qualified for the Mo coaching qualification earlier this year. I'm now co-hosting a course for the new cohort of coaches. So I'll be training the coaches which is a nice position to be in because it reinforces my learning as well as being able to give something back to this organization that gave me that initial coaching learning. So it's all about coaching people in a range of different situations, using a range of different frameworks. And I think what will happen is when I start to co-host, it'll help integrate that thinking back into my mind, because it was a few months that I did that course, and sometimes you forget little bits and pieces. So I'm hopeful that not only can I give something back, as in coaching other coaches, but also that'll help me become a better coach myself. And another thing I did this week was an estimation session using something called Lunar Logic. So Lunar Logic is like normal estimation, except that things have a size of 1, or they're too big, or they're too confusing. So it's a bit different to regular estimation where you sort of, fruit sizes or t-shirt sizes or story points and so on. This is all about bringing things down to the simplest form. And so in my mind, it's really the essence of estimation, as in, what is the point of estimation? The point of estimation is to break things down into the smallest amount of cards or tickets that you can, which makes them more easily understood in terms of how fast you can get through them. Other sorts of estimation, for example, trying to figure out how many story points a particular task is, you can spend so long trying to figure out something is 4 points or 8 points. Or you can spend so long arguing whether it's a grape-sized task or a pear-sized task. Whereas actually, there's no benefit in terms of the amount of time you spend figuring out the size. There's no actual benefit in terms of getting there. So what Lunar Logic does, what I really like, is it focuses on not the time part, but just in the breaking down the ticket part. So ultimately, once you get good at it, you have a series of tickets which all offer similar size. And that way, you can then look back using your metrics and say, right, we got through 50 tickets last sprint, which means because we understand how to break these tickets down, we know, I'm fairly certain, that in the next sprint, we'll probably get through around about 50. That's a much better way of doing estimation than trying to pick a figure out of the air and say this is, or try to pick a fruit and say this is like a watermelon task. It's going to take a while. Rather than that, a bit more precise, and it gives you a bit more information, bit more credible as well with the people you're working with, because I think you lose a bit of credibility when you're trying to do all fruit sizes, which it just feels like people realize ultimately doesn't give anyone any benefit. Whereas this one, not only is it benefit for you as a delivery manager because you understand how long it's going to take because of the similar size tickets, but it's also a benefit for the people who are using the tickets because they know they've got small tickets, first of all. They'll see them moving across the board at satisfaction, and they'll know they'll be able to finish within the course of a sprint. So we did a design estimation session. That was the first of the design estimation session. So I made sure I give a feedback form, get some feedback, refine the process, and try again with the development tickets next time. And that was pretty much my week. Hope you enjoyed listening. I'll see you next time.